Hello, I'm Will from #Dash, and we already discussed why you should learn to code and which language should you pick at first to start learning. In this video, we'll make the next step, which is installing Python on our computer and write our first Hello World program. Are you ready? Then let's get started. So why do we need a programming language in the first place? Well, the long story short is because your computer only understands zeros and ones. And I want to explain the whole binary thing where we represent all of the data in zeros and ones. And if you want to understand in detail how a computer works, please leave a comment below and I will make another video only to explain this. So to program the computer, we actually don't need to understand all of those details, but it's sure a good thing to know. Okay, so what we really need is to install a system that translates a language that we can understand and write to the machine code that the PC or your computer can understand and execute. Okay, so we will do that through installing Python, and I will show you the first in the Windows OS. Okay, let's move to Windows. Alright, here we are in Windows, and now we will launch this Edge browser. I just installed this Microsoft Windows, and we can type here python.org, which is the website of the Python interpreter, Python language. We have to go to download, and it will auto detect for Windows. We click here and it downloads the executable. Okay, then we click here, it opens. It's very important that you tick this option, add Python 3.9 to path. What this path means is that you can type Python, the command Python in your prompt, and it will execute automatically. You don't need to jump in the folder that it's installed to do that. So you can do it everywhere, and it's very good to do that in the future. Okay, now you can go install now, click yes, and it will install all of the standard libraries, all of the code, and an editor that we can use at first to make our own first program. Okay, after it's installed, then we can close. We can close Edge, and when we click here, we have Python 3.9, we have idle, which is the editor I showed you. Okay, so the path tick that we selected is because we can come here and type command prompt, and here we have a terminal that we can type Python, press enter, and this is the Python interpreter where we can code, we can run the commands. Okay, so the first command we will learn is the print command or the print function, and we have to pass in double quotes or single quotes the phrase that we want to print on the screen. Okay, so we type hello world and we press enter, and it shows hello world here. Okay, so this is a live programming interface. You can type 1 + 4 and it will give me 5, and so on. We can use this as a calculator or a test that we can type a code that we just learned. Okay, so to exit here, we just type exit, and the parents. Okay, press enter, and now we leave the Python interpreter. Okay, we can close that. We can also open idle, clicking here or typing here idle. And this is the editor that comes with the Python installation. It's the same command prompt that we just used, and we can type here 4 plus 6 and it will give me 10. And I can click on File, New File, and I can code here print hello world and save that. I can save in the desktop so you can see. Let me call it test.py. Okay, now that we saved, it's here on the desktop. Now we can run, or pressing F5 or going to run and run module. And here it will run and show the results of our program. Okay, so these are the two ways that you can use Python. The live interpreter mode, where you can just type any command and it will execute, and writing all of the commands in a file, and then Python will do the command line by line. Okay. Okay, now that we have installed and tested it in Windows, now let's see how we can do the same on Linux. Let me open here. If you have Arch Linux, which I doubt, you type the command sudo pacman, open a terminal and type sudo pacman -s python. Type your password and it will install. I will type N and press enter because I already have installed in my system. Okay, if you are on Ubuntu or Debian based systems, then you type sudo apt-get install python. I think you might already have Python installed, and we are using the Python 3 version. There are mainly two types commonly used in production, which is the Python 2 and Python 3. We are using the Python 3, which is the latest version. Okay, so if you type Python in your terminal on Ubuntu or Debian based systems, you should see here Python 2.7, I think. And if you see 2.7 there, you can also type Python 3 and run that. And now you should see Python 3.9 or whatever version you are using right now. Okay, so this is the way you can run the interpreter live coding mode, right? And if you wanna execute, write a file with the commands, you can use whatever editor you want. Any text editor can do this, okay? So I use Vim, but I'll call test.py. I write print hello world. I'll save that, save to a file, and you can execute this file typing the command python test.py, and it should print the result here, hello world. If you are on Mac, then you can go to python.org, go to downloads, here's the Mac OS version, and then you click on the Python 3, latest Python 3 release, and then at the bottom of the page you can choose an installer. So macOS 64-bit Intel installer and or universal installer. Here you can click this and install on your computer, or you can use the Brew package manager. So if you don't know Brew, you just go to brew.sh and you have to run this command here in your prompt on the Mac OS. So open the terminal, copy this, clicking here, copy this code, run it, and then you can do brew install Python. So you open a terminal, type brew install Python, and then it should run and install Python on your system, and you can test with Python and run that and see if the interpreter comes alive. Okay, after that you can do the same thing I showed you in Linux. You can create a file in your in any text editor, save that as something.py, and execute the command with Python and the name of the file that you gave. So test.py, and it should show hello world or the phrase that you send in the print function here in double quotes. Okay, so this is the basic setup. Now we are ready to understand and learn the basics of Python. And I'll see you in the next video.